Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and thank you for coming tonight. I'm pleased to see all of you here. We're going to start on page 3, and I invite Beverly Tarbus to the bima to light candles for us.
Source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Let us take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you. We'll continue on page 6 at the bottom, and let's read this together. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We'll continue on page 20 and 21 with L'cha Dodi. We will sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And on 9, we stand and we face the door. L'cha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. L'cha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmi'anu el hamiyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad. L'shem u'tiferet v'liti la 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 l'cha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabala l'cha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabala likrat Shabbat l'chu v'nelcha ki hi mekor haberacha מראש מקדם ניסוחה, סוף מעשה במחשבתי לה 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 לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Please rise and face the door. Bo'iv shalom, ateret bala. Gam besimcha uvetzochala. Toch emunei am segula. Boi chala. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. La lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. And please remain standing as we go to page 28 for Baruchu. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. You may be seated. We continue on page 31 at the bottom. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai HaMa'ariv Aravim. And we continue on page 32 with Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadata. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu v'kumenu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei toratecha uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael. And we rise once more for Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated, and we'll continue in a second on the next page with the Haftarah. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך וקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרוהו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. We usually do this only in Hebrew, but I think it's worth once in a while reading the English so we know what we're saying. So let's read together at the bottom of the page. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and be holy to your God. I am Adonai, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Let's continue now on the bottom of page 39, responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. On the next page, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha Elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot oseh pele, nora tehilot oseh pele. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. Let's continue on the bottom of page 43. Let's read together. Give us a place to rest, Adonai. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores simchat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. And let's go to page 44, and at the bottom of the page, let's do Yismechu. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomre, 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekareshe Shabbat, kulam yispehu v'yitangu mituvecha Shabbat, yismechu v'malachutecha, shomre, 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat, yismechu v'malachutecha, shomre, 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat. Chemdat yamim oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomre, 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomre, 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Zecher l'maseh v'reshit Shabbat. Zecher l'maseh v'reshit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomre, 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomre, 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. And we'll continue in just a second on the next page, and please rise. Adonai sifata tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanורah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevii Geula Livnei Bneihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. Continue on page 50. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Michayei HaKol Atah Rav Le'Hoshiach, Morid Hatal, Michalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Michayei HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rov V'Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Givurot, Umidom Melach, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atah L'chayot HaKol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. 52. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yichalalucha Selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. You may be seated. Okay. We'll continue on page 55 at the bottom, responsively. Disturb us, Adonai. Ruffle us from our complacency. Make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat. And we continue now on page 56. Together, find favor, Adonai our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayer in love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants. Pour out your Spirit upon us. O God and God of our fathers and mothers, on this, oops, that's the wrong thing, sorry. Skip to the bottom. Let our eyes behold your loving return to Zion. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose presence returns to Zion. Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazir shechinato l'Tzion. And now we go to 59 at the bottom. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us? You make us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. And at the top of 60, join me in Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol et u'v'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael v'shalom. We take a moment now for silent prayer. Oh, Hoseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. I think we're going to do Misha Berach before I make my remarks. I don't have anything formally prepared, but I have read the Torah portion and I have a little bit to discuss with you, so maybe we can have a little bit of a discussion. So at this time, we think about those who are in need of our prayers for healing, whether of healing of body or healing of soul. Those who are on the congregational list this week are Lev Dickerman, Teresa Todd, Jim Todd, Aaron McElvin, Terry Anderson, Rivka Bat-Frimit, Lisa Duval, Carlene Webb, Joel Genrid, Maggie Barbieri, Ellen Stein, Leela Wilson, Paul Tackett, LMPD Officer Nick Wilt, Eric Gershkovich, Mick Savkovich, Tom Sobel, Al Unger, Janet Elke, Margaret Phillips, Karen Pass, Yosef Avraham Yehoshua ben Baila Liba, Linda McCarty, Beth Haberman. As my eyes go across the room, please feel free to add anyone that you would like. Join me in Mishaberach on page 253. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu Mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Thank you all for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. I've been listening to a talking book, and it's in a very strong Southern drawl, and I was tempted to go ahead and put together something tonight in a strong Southern drawl, but I think I'm going to resist the temptation. We have a double Torah portion this week, and in the morning I'll talk about the second half of it. But this evening I thought I'd give you a little bit of insight in the first half and then open it up for your comments. I don't know how that will work with the streaming, though. I guess we do have a microphone up here, and the light goes on. So when you want to comment, I'm going to ask you to, I'll pass the microphone to you and ask you to share your comments so they can be heard online as well. The Torah portion this week is at the end of the 40 years of wandering. The Hebrews have come to the banks of the Jordan. They're getting ready to cross over to the other side. And God says, your land goes from this point in the north to this point in the south, and from the Great Sea to the Jordan River. And God has Moses appoint different people to apportion the land appropriately among the tribes, so that each tribe has their own section of the land. But two of the tribes, and one of them's Gad, and I'm not sure the other one. I don't remember, so forgive me, we can look it up. Come to Moses and say, hey, Moses, we're herders and we're shepherds, and these steppes that we're in here are wonderful grazing pastures. We don't want to cross over the river, we want to settle here. And Moses turns to them and say, you're just like the spies that we sent out 40 years ago. You don't want to cross over into the land, and you're going to make God angry. And they say, wait a minute, Moses, hold your horses. We have another idea. How about if you let us establish safe places for our families and for our flocks and herds, and then the men in our communities will go forth as shock troops with the rest of Israel. So we're not abandoning you. We're not going to let you fight on your own and just ignore you and ignore God. And Moses gets back to them and says, you know what? That'll work. And so they settle their families in the hill lands where there's grazing pasture, and their people come, they cross the Jordan, the soldiers cross the Jordan and help the Israelites capture the land of the promised land that they're going into. So that was one aspect of it. Another aspect of it is that God commands the Jews to expel the people from the land, get rid of them. Some of them would be killed, some of them would be expelled, but God promises that those who will stay behind, if you leave people behind, they're going to be a thorn in your side, and it's going to be a bad influence on you. God is afraid that the people who inhabit the land are idol worshipers, and they're going to influence the people who come to settle there to worship idols. Now, I've done a fair amount of talking here, and now I'm going to ask for you to comment. What do you think about all of this? Were the two tribes that chose to stay correct? What would you have done if you had been there? Did Moses make the right decision? And what about this idea of clearing the land? Come down and... Anybody want to make a comment to help me with this? Because it's really kind of a dilemma. Huh? You want to say that? Huh? Nobody's going to say anything. Because I didn't go in very deeply. Okay. I guess we'll just touch superficially. You have something, Caroline? I think maybe she learned to live with other people. It is, well, it must not be connected because it's on. Doesn't sound like it's connected. Okay, I'll go up there and I'll repeat the comment. Carolyn shared with us that it's a bad precedent to go into the land and kick people out. We should just live with them. And I guess we're looking at it through modern eyes, the way we look at things today. Back in the time when when Moses was still leading the people here, but Joshua will take over and lead them into the land. It was frequently go in and conquer and either make the people slaves or kill them or drive them out of the land into exile. I tend to agree with Carolyn that I'd much rather see us live in peace with people and let them do their thing and let us do our thing. But it really is a modern perspective and not what they did back in those days. Anybody else? I'll repeat the comments so that they can hear online. Carrie?
I agree with Carolyn.
Okay, Lori says she agrees with Carolyn. Yeah. Today we'd call it ethnic cleansing. Okay. Well, tomorrow morning we'll talk about the second part of the Parsha for the week, and it deals with different kinds of murder versus killing, and we're going to talk about that and the establishment of cities of refuge. That's where we're going tomorrow. Okay, announcements. Shabbat services tomorrow begin at 10:30. I welcome every one of you to come back if you like. We are going to celebrate Disability Pride Month with a pre-oneg and meet and greet on Friday, July 21st at 5:30. The service will feature Eden Scarborough, Wiggle Wow owner Mark Pfeiffer, and Dreams on Wings Executive Director Jennifer Frohmeyer. The services start at 6:30. Wiggle Wow is where Eden works now, And Dreams with Wings was where Andrew Venetianer was when he was still with us. Temple Shalom Day at the J is Sunday, August 6th at 11:30. We're going to the New Traeger Family Jewish Community Center for a tour and lunch, and then there'll be a silent disco afterwards and more. Check your weekly e-blast for details. And save the date for the 10th annual Give for Good on Thursday, September 14th. Details to come. Yes, Carrie.
It seems like the first parsha is to exile people, kill them, and the second parsha is to give refuge.
City of Refuge, if someone kills someone accidentally, they can go to the City of Refuge, and then the person seeking vengeance for the loss cannot kill them in the City of Refuge until they stand before a judge and jury. Yeah, there are a lot of contrasts in it. Come tomorrow morning and we can join it, you can join in the discussion then. But I'm not going to get into details about the cities of refuge tonight, or the different kinds of killing. Yeah, it is a contrast. I don't think I repeated your comment so people online could hear, but Carrie was saying it seemed that tonight we're talking about wiping out a people and killing them or exiling them, and tomorrow we're talking about cities of refuge where people might go and not be killed. So come tomorrow morning and join the discussion. And we will continue now on page 282 with Aleinu, and please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. 284 שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצר ארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגפי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. 287 ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Before we get to Kaddish, we usually do a reading, and the song on the bottom of 291 has always held special meaning for me. So I'm going to ask you just to listen, and I'm going to sing Yesh Kochavim. יש כוכבים שאורם מגיע ארצה, רק כאשר הם עצמם עבדו ואינם. יש אנשים שזיו זכרם מאיר, כאשר הם עצמם אינם עוד בתוכנו. אורות אלה המבחיקים בהשקת הליל, הם שמראים לאדם את הדרך, את הדרך. הם שמראים לאדם את הדרך, את הדרך. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. We remember as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. We remember. Tonight, we remember the following yard sites. If you're saying Kaddish for someone, please rise when their name is read. Betty Lozer, Bessie Meller, Al Savitt, and Della Horrell. May their memories be for a blessing. Please rise and let's read the Kaddish together on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, be'alma divrach kirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayedech ol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam ol mei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shmei dekudsha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us all and to all Israel, to which we say, amen. And let's close tonight with Hinei Matov on page 340. Hinei Matov, behold how good and pleasant it is for us to dwell together in peace. Hinei Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei Matov, hinei Matov. Ya la 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 la, hinei matov, hinei matov. Ya la 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 la, hinei matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Thank you to Beverly for lighting the candles, and to Rich and Laurie for doing streaming tonight. And please join us in the foyer for Kiddush and Motzi. Shabbat Shalom.